Hey, what's up, fellas? I'm Malicious Female Fan Steve Alicious here, and Jeremy Clarkson was reviewing an Alfa Romeo Giulia on the Grand Tour one time, pointing out the various flaws of the vehicle, one of them being that the door pillar was pushed too far forward, making it difficult to get in and out of the vehicle. The quote being, "They've managed to put the door in the wrong place. How alpha is that?" Much the same, the Pixel 6 is a phone that could magically erase something or an object or a person from an image that was formerly only available on Photoshop and before that supercomputers, but it's also a phone that makes it very difficult to enter and open with thumbprint scanning technology that's been available for years. How Google is that? We'll talk about it today on this edition of Steve Alicious Tech. And we're back, of course. Thank you so much to all the new subscribers, getting oh so close to 5,500 as of the taping of this video. If you're loving all the tech, both new and old, go ahead and give that subscribe button a tussle. It certainly means a lot to me. So, the Pixel 6, I don't want people to be confused with the analogy or the story at the beginning of the introduction when I was talking about Jeremy Clarkson. He was being loving about the Alpha. He could point out these flaws, but they were more endearing than anything. And a lot of times, that's what you get with the Pixel as well. I liken it to a dog. A dog that pees on the carpet, bites the neighbor, but all it has to do is act like a puppy, get those big eyes, and run over to you at the end of the day and wag its tail, and all is forgiven. You can have all the struggles you want getting into the thing with the fingerprint sensor. You can have all the struggles sometimes with the UI, and sometimes the always on display popping up, and sometimes it's not, and sometimes sluggish animations, and sometimes not. But when it works, and when you pick it up and just do something on it, you just love the device. So before anyone gets confused and paints this as a negative review, which it's not, I'll answer the question straight up front. Is this worth, after a week of using it, your $599? And the answer is absolutely yes. But understand that there's going to be two different worlds of people using this device. If you are someone who's coming from a Pixel 3, if you are someone who's coming from the standard Pixel 4, and you're just tired of the battery life, or you're tired of all the problems with Android 12 on your device, will you be happy with this if you're a Pixel person? The answer is absolutely yes. Run, don't walk, and pick this up for $599. You're used to that experience. You're used to the quirkiness. It's still here for you, and you're going to like it. For someone who's not a Pixel person, perhaps you're coming from a OnePlus. You're fed up with what they've done the last few years. You're coming from a OnePlus 7 or a OnePlus 8. You're coming from a Samsung device. You don't quite like what they've done with the A series, the mid-rangers. You think the Ultras and the S21s are a little bit too expensive, so you're looking for a cheaper alternative. Perhaps you're an iPhone user that just wants to come on over and enjoy the wonders of Android. There's something here for you as well. But you got to understand that it's not perfect. I don't think it was worth all the nonsense that we got and all the hype for the device. But once you wipe that away, as I said in the 24-hour impressions video, and you just boil it down to a $599 device, it's worth it. And the frustration comes in that there's so much stuff about saying, oh, we're nitpicking the Pixel and we're bashing the Pixel, and nobody would give this kind of aggravation to an iPhone or a Samsung device if they had similar flaws. Well, when you build yourself up to be the Tom Brady of software optimization, we hold, if you're a fan of American football, Tom Brady to a different standard than we hold Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. When Daniel Jones has a stupid play, of which he has a million of them, or throws a pick, you don't even bat an eye because you're like, oh, that's just him. Maybe he'll get better. When Tom Brady does it in a big spot, like he did last week, you scratch your head. You're like, wait a minute, that's not supposed to happen. So when you go out repeatedly and have these big reveal events and all the rest of it, where you spend so much time on software, and you come out with a device like the Pixel 4 years ago that doesn't even had a 2,700 milliamp hour battery or something like that, and you basically say, well, with our optimization, you don't need as much RAM as the competition. You don't need a bigger milliamp hour battery than the competition because we have software optimization. Well, then optimize the software. And when you talk about Android 12, and I hear all this stuff, like there's problems with the connectivity. We'll get to that in a moment. They say, well, it's an Exynos modem problem. Well, okay, can I get this with another one? Is there another option of modem? No. So the buck stops here. It's all in this device. So you don't get to separate parts out that you don't like or you place the blame on another company. Well, it's an Android 12 problem, not a Google Pixel 6 problem. Well, who makes both? Can I get Android 11 on here? Can I get a stable version of Android 11 on here? No. They made that decision. You got to live with it. Can I get another modem? Could I get a Qualcomm 5G modem in here? No. They made that decision. You got to live with it. Can I get another fingerprint sensor in here? Well, it's the fingerprint sensor or something like that. It just goes on and on and on. Now, let's get to the device itself. The feel and the build. And like I said, it's like that puppy. When it comes over to you and it wags its tail and it looks at you, and sometimes you're just sitting there and you pick up the device and you start using it, and the flat screen and the feel in the hand and the quirky but wonderful design and all the rest of it, just the premium quality of what you're getting. And then you double back and you think, wow, $599. You love it. They've always been frustrating devices to me, and this one's no different. I thought maybe this year they'd kind of clean everything up and they just go with a solid device, but maybe that was asking too much. But at the same time, you're absolutely going to enjoy this. Photos, phenomenal. We'll put them up. You know, I mean, what can you say about a Pixel camera at this point? We're not a specs channel. Never have been, never will be. There's plenty of other people doing that. We're a discussion channel. Here's the photos. It's not a review without a grill shot. Okay. Videos, it's better. It's not iPhone video. Doesn't have to be. It's better than it was. And for the picture quality you're getting and the price point, I'm going to go back to that a lot because it's a big deal. The price point, it's more than good enough. And you got some cool stuff, and you got the Magic Eraser, which I don't really get into. The Magic Eraser is nice for when you need it. That one time that maybe someone photobombs you, or there's a car that drives by, or there's something in the background you just don't quite like. It does a phenomenal job. It's amazing at this price point, but it's not something that you're going to be using X amount of times a week or a day. Which is part of the frustrating part of being a Pixel owner, is that they nail something like that, like I said in the intro, but they don't nail something like just getting the fingerprint sensor to work. Or the fact that the always on display for me sometimes just won't go on when I pick up the device. I have to hit the power button, wake it up. The animation is slow. It feels like it was lagging for a second. And I get that that can be solved in software. But guess what? That $599, if you get this, is already out of your pocket. They're on the clock. It's time to fix it. And it is fixable. And the hard part about making these videos and making these recommendations is that I understand, this is the MKBHD rule, right? You never buy a phone with an expectation of software getting better. But at $599 for what you do get, and let's not get us wrong, it's not unusable. When I talk about the 5G modem connectivity, it's a little worse than Samsung and iPhone. I was getting decent 1 and 2 bar performance in an area with an iPhone and an S21 Ultra, and here it was struggling to connect at all. So just keep that in mind. If you're in a low connectivity area, if you have an iPhone right now or a Samsung device or even an older Pixel and you're a 1 bar, 2 bar, you live in that lifestyle, you're going to maybe struggle with the connectivity on the Pixel 6. That's just if you're not around Wi-Fi. If you're around Wi-Fi all day, don't worry about it. But at the same time, you're like, this is good. The battery life is excellent. It's the best, certainly the best Android 12, you know, out of the betas and whatnot. But it's also the best Android 11-ish experience you're going to get battery life on any Android device, especially in this price range, with this performance matched to it. We're talking near flagship performance and 6+ hours of screen on time, which I get, and I think is safe to say that you will get even with moderate usage, even with a mix of games and video and Twitter and TikTok and all the rest of it. You're going to do more than well on this. And for $599, that's hard to beat. The display is excellent. The speakers get loud. I understand they're not the most detailed in the world, and at the top end range is going to mush out a little bit. But $599. It's a confusing one. It's a tough call. It's a tough call and it's not a tough call. You're going to love it. No one is going to spend $599 on this device and be disappointed. Let's put it that way. Okay? You're not going to spend $599 and wish, geez, I wish I had never gotten this phone. But there are times that you're going to have using it and you're like, you scratch your head. What were they thinking? How was this decision made? But this is where we took... It's Pixel. It's Pixel. It's Pixel. And there's plenty of people I'd say, well, it's not a stock Android experience. It's a Pixel experience. And they're true. But it goes further than just the software. It's an overall Pixel experience in general. Great camera, near flagship performance, definitely on par with flagship battery life when you're talking Android. The materials alone are worth picking this device up. It's fun to use. There's a lot of great features. There's a lot of Google-esque things that they add in. And I think that it's going to require a little patience for people who are not coming from a Pixel device, but you're still going to love it. And from people who are coming from a Pixel device, jump right in. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to see here. Just go ahead, plop it down, and you'll be good to go. And I think you should be fine with the Pixel 6 as opposed to the Pixel 6 Pro. Personal decision. If you like a telephoto lens, you're going to go to the Pro. But otherwise, you need that Quad HD display, you're going to go with that. The 4 gigs of RAM, I think you can live with the extra not being there. But for the most part, it's one of the more confusing devices. It always is. It always is. But I think that's what it breaks down to. Nobody, regardless if you're a Pixel fan or not, who picks this up for $599 is going to be disappointed. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time. Sorry it was a long one. I know we've been doing a lot of Pixel stuff. Just came out. Very confusing device. A lot of people looking for information on it. We're going to do OnePlus stuff next week. We're going to be doing some Samsung stuff next week. Z Flip 3 stuff next week. And of course, the old stuff. We got Microsoft Lumia 640 to talk about as well. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.